Deacon Sakari, we back at it like a crack addict. They done let them bruise in the dough in this wicked industry to shine the light. They done let them bruise in the dough. Oh shit. They done let them bruise in the dough. They done let them bruise in the dough. They done let them bruise in the dough. We ain't going nowhere. Hebrews. They done let them bruise in the dough. They done let them bruise in the dough. Look. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Deacon Sakari, new clothing line, The Whole Armor. Put it on. New clothing line out right now. We got apparel for the sisters, apparel for the kids, and of course, apparel for the mighty men of Israel. We got quality material, affordable prices, y'all. Check it out. We got stuff for the Southern Kingdom. We got stuff for the Northern Kingdom. We got exclusivity. All right, y'all see it. Y'all see the brew drip. Y'all see the brew sauce. All right, Deacon Sakari new clothing line called thewholearmor.com. All right, everybody go support Israelite businesses, and I greatly appreciate y'all. Shalom. Cops hop out, we bail on them. Leviticus, I like my fish with scales on them. Ask Chief Ephraim, he can vouch. We be putting in the work while you sitting on the couch. Camp haters quiet as a mouse. Yeah, already shout out to my brother Austin Trout. Just as a reminder, if there's doubt, I wear every single fringe, even when I'm in the house. Get all your truth music at deaconsakari.com. That's 9 albums. We even got a couple free for y'all. Support the cause, y'all.
I see a lot of haters. I knew it would come with it. Rap game full of evil and sin, and I don't want none of it. They bite my style. They just want to take it and run with it.
Sakari Varsity Online Academy, specializing in Hebrew apologetics. Come learn how to defend the gospel. Email sakariseattle@gmail.com. Limited registration. Sakari.
We are the children of the one Yahweh.
The chosen.
Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh. And he has given his laws to us. Now everything belongs to us. We above all nations, all nations.
What?
Above all nations, all nations.
Yeah.
We are the chosen of the one Yahweh. Above all nations.
We finally back on. Children's Bibles with black and brown images. I know a lot of y'all been waiting. A lot of people on back order. We still got some though. Put your order in before it's too late. I'm gonna start having them regularly, Lord willing. Tire Pro Go, a mobile sale, install, and repair company. Servicing the New York, New Jersey area. Support Israelite business. All right, y'all. Go to czyn.network. czyn.network. We done with Patreon. No more Patreon. czyn.network. You're going to get videos too hot for YouTube or early releases. So go sign up. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Not only do you get Deacon Sakari's content, you get Guerrilla Hebrew content, Hassad content, other camps putting their content on this platform. We need our own app, so sign up using promo code Deacon Sakari. czyn.network. It's our own app, our own platform. The white man can no longer subvert or hide or try to censor this truth. So sign up and get this heat. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. CZYN. Praises. Get your commercial played here. Contact SakariSeattle@gmail.com. Introducing Super Thanks. YouTube has now added a feature where you can donate if you missed the live show by just clicking the heart button with the thanks on it. It'll be on every video. It'll highlight your comment to bring more attention to your statement. So if it's on your heart, super thanks. Shalom.
Popping mollies and putting powder in your nostrils. We be in the trenches, needles under benches. We be giving them the gospel. I keep 12 Sakari members with me. We be moving like apostles. True. Some stices is dead traps, hair wraps, but you still a thought though. The church don't even know the truth. They can even tell you an Israelite. The Arabs selling you all the switches and the malt liquor are the Ishmaelites. You can show a nigga slave ships in the Bible, still won't get it right. Until the time's out, then a nigga gotta find out what them missiles like.
All right, y'all, let's check this out. Let's check this audio and visual out. Oh, praises, man. What's going on, y'all? Back with another live one. Sunday we did a premiere, but it's all good. Let's start this by giving all praises to the Most High. Gotta adore our Creator. Thank Him for making us, giving us oxygen in our lungs, keeping us healthy, keeping a roof over our head and our daily bread. Bars. In the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, real name Yahushua in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. What's going on, y'all? This is Deacon Sakari, back with a Tuesday night live stream. Hopefully y'all caught that premiere on Sunday. Hopefully y'all caught that premiere on Sunday. Christian student tries to battle the Israelites. I forget what it's called, but some great content. If you were on czyn.network using promo code Deacon Sakari, you would have already saw that. But everything comes to YouTube late, and some things doesn't come to YouTube at all due to the policy of this platform. So without further ado, y'all see the title. I hope everybody's well. Let's get into it. Jewish Cantor. What is a Jewish Cantor? It's like a good music director and also a Jewish reporter. They linked up and did a show about a month ago saying that the Israelites are dangerous. We fear them, right? And they should fear, not because of any violence, but because of the awareness, because the awakening, because the exposing, because the spirit of the Most High dispensing throughout the earth on His true people, right? While the ones who say they are the true people are 90% secular. Isn't that crazy? The people that say that they are God's chosen people, they don't even believe in Him. That don't make sense. That doesn't make sense, does it? So before we get into this, I want to read a couple of things before we get into this content. Right. Before we get into this content, I want to say fair use. This is going to be our thoughts and comments on this content. Again, fair use. This is going to be our thoughts and comments on this particular content that we're going to be going through today, combing through. All right. Vetting, examining, scrutinizing, expounding on the information and the things that they're saying, right? But first, yes, like I said, they should be scared and fearful. See, in Ezekiel 37, it talks about the valley of dry bones, right? And this is a prophecy that the Lord will put His identity back on His chosen people, wake His chosen people back up to who they are in the earth. And it says, when He does that, verse 10, this is Ezekiel 37 and 10. See, the bones represent us in a dead state. Proverbs 21 and 16 says, he that wandereth out of the way of understanding will remain in the congregation of the dead, of the realm of the dead. When you're in slavery and captivity, you're in a dead state that is replicated, that is not replicated, but that is demonstrated all throughout the Bible, that analogy, right? So these dry bones represent us in the dead state in captivity with no identity, no heritage, no culture, not knowing who we are and from whence we came. But God said that the prophet prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came into them, life, the commandments, the knowledge, the wisdom, and they lived, and they stood upon their feet. This is why they're scared right here. And they stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. You see that? An exceeding great army. That's what it says. So the army of the Lord is being built in the world today through God's chosen people, the men, starting with the men. That's who's in this army. The Most High does not allow women in his army. But of course, you know, our women are pivotal and imperative to the ministry, to our nation, to our culture, to our heritage. But the fighting, oh, the women, they just get to sit back and let the other nations' women serve them because they're so delicate, modest, and beautiful. You understand that? So this is why they're scared, y'all, because they see an exceeding great army, right? Revelation 11 also tells you that this would happen, not just to those who stole our identity, but the world itself, the other nations, the heathen world at large would see this awakening and be in fear, right? So when we take a look at Revelation 11 and 11, Revelation 11 and 11, right? So when we take a look at this, it says that, you know, we will be in a dead state. Our dead bodies would lie in this great city, Mystery Babylon, which is proven to be America. After 3 days and a half, after a certain time period, with this prophetic number here, the spirit of life from God entered into them. It's representing God's army, the same thing Ezekiel's seeing. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So we're going to take a look at the great fear in this video that I'm going to play here. The fake false narrative of, oh, they're going to hurt me, they're going to persecute me. We don't even have the power, military nor legislation or resources to hurt any damn thing. Here's how we're hurting you: by exposing the lies, by propagating the truth. At this point, the revolution is spiritual. At this point, the revolution is spiritual. Now, when the Most High sends his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the book says, not me, not Deacon Sakari, the book says what the Messiah is going to do to not just you guys, but the world, the nations who are not his own. It says he's going to bring all the nations to an end, and he's going to use his people, the Israelites, to do that. That's what the book says, right? Let's get that real quick. And then let's examine this content, right? Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. And everybody put "We love Israel" in the chat. We love Israel because we love each other. So in Jeremiah 51, this is a promise. A prophecy is a promise. This is what he tells the Israelites. Jeremiah 51 and 20. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. He's going to use the men of Israel and weaponize them to tear off in the nations. You know what? to destroy, to conquer, to pillage, to plunder, to spoil. That's what the book says. So right now, rest easy. Rest easy and enjoy your sleep. Enjoy your kingdom. Enjoy the robbery, the spoils from the robbery that you committed. Because it'll all come down soon. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Bible. So let's play some of this again. Fair use is going to be our thoughts and comments on this content. Right. Let's play this.
On Israel. Welcome to my latest episode of Proudly Jewish, Conversations on Israel and Jewish Identity. And I've been looking at...
It looked like he got a white... Is that a white yarmulke? Is that a white kippah? Or is that just his head and skin? Is that a white yarmulke? Or is that just his head and skin? You guys tell me.
Various elements of the repercussions, the aftermath of October 7th. But today I wanted to explore another element of anti-Semitism, potential anti-Semitism, that is not directly related to October 7th, the Black Hebrew Israelites.
First of all, I am Jew also. The 12 lost tribes of Hebrew. Do the math. Do your research on it.
And shout out Kanye, even though he just created a corn site. And, you know, we all know that Kanye had a problem with, you know, corn. And for those of you who don't know, he did create an adult corn site. But God did use him to wake up our people by just doing a little research about who we are, that we are, in fact, Jews. We are, in fact, Israelites, right? He's thus, or since, been spiraling downhill into delirium and oblivion. But he did make these statements, and these statements impacted the world, and that's all God needed to use him for. Now he can go and destroy his life with corn. And for all you guys who are having problems like that, you need to fast and pray and check yourself. Corn will ruin your life. Let's go.
Joined today by a very special guest, Charles Fain Lehman. Charles is a fellow at the Manhattan Institute. And
you notice what it said, the Manhattan Institute. So this other guy is he's a part of the Manhattan Institute. Charles,
editor of City Journal, and a 2023-2024 Robert Novak Fellow with the Fund for American Studies. A lot more as well, but I'm not going to go into his whole bio completely. Charles, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely, happy to be on.
Now, this guy, Charles.
Who are the Black Hebrew Israelites? What do they believe?
You know, that...
So this guy, Charles, remember I did a video called The Fastest Growing Religion in America? Remember? Because they did a survey at the Manhattan Institute where it says that, you know, the masses of our people are identifying as Hebrew Israelites. And so I believe that he's the one who did the survey. All right, just so you guys know.
It's a thornier question than it would seem. Because when people think about Black Hebrew Israelism, if they think about...
Hey, you Jewish people watching, you do know you can contact me and you can interview me. If you want to interview any one of the leaders of this community, reach out to me. I'll set it up. You don't have to get somebody else to talk about us.
All, they probably think about sort of the most high visibility instances of it. In DC, near where I live, you sort of sometimes see these guys street preaching, will dress in sort of outlandish garb, yell a controversial thing about how God is going to kill all white people.
Why do they act like that's our message every time we go out there? Like we don't tell our people to repent, believe on the Messiah, believe on your heavenly Father. Stop destroying our own community. Stop poisoning our own community. This is the slandering, the vilifying and demonizing, because it's just this is why we say the white man is the devil, because they do stuff like this. It's natural. It's innately in him to do this to us, literally, because he's an Edomite. And even their Jewish literature says that Caucasians are Edomites. I want you to know that. And who are the Edomites? How did they feel about the true Israelites? Well, they had a perpetual hatred. They have, rather, a perpetual hatred for the true children of Jacob. Amos 1 and 11. So in Amos chapter 1 and 11, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof." Now remember, people were saying Edomites can receive salvation, but this is saying they have a punishment that God will not turn away. Let me read it slow for you. I, the Most High speaking, will not turn away the punishment thereof. This is a promise that cannot be reversed, or God is a liar. They have an impending judgment on them, and it will come to pass. There is nothing that anybody can do to save an Edomite. Why? Because he did pursue his brother with the sword and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Now, Esau is not alive, the one who was trying to kill the man Jacob. So how can Esau keep his wrath forever if he's dead? Well, through his children, transmitting that spirit and that evil spoiled seed down to his descendants that will have the same hate. And we see it today with us versus them, Caucasian versus the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. They have destroyed us the most out of all of their destructions and coming against other ethnicities and peoples. Facts. Right. Through his demon seed, somebody said, through his demon seed. Correct.
That sort of thing. I think that, though, is often perceived as sort of the most extreme wing. There's really a diversity of Black Hebrew Israelite thought based on what research has been done on them. It's hard almost to say that there's a single Black Hebrew Israelite ideology. What I'd say is that Black Hebrew Israelism is really just a single belief, of which there are many, or there's some number of devotees with other divergent beliefs. That single belief is that Black Americans, African Americans, are descendants directly of the 12 tribes of Israel. Sometimes, although not always, this also means believing that Jews are not descended from the 12 tribes of Israel, that Black people are the true descendants, or alternately that a variety of people, including Black people, are the true descendants, including or not including Jews. But most fundamentally, if you want a single sentence summary, Black Hebrewism is the idea that Black.
Now, it's crazy because he's sitting here laughing and smiling, but then as we play it, he's like, yeah, this is scary. Well, quit laughing then. Is it scary or is it funny? And I don't see how it's a joke if you're so scared and fearful. Or is this nervous fake laugh? That's what it is. A nervous, scared, scary laugh.
Are descended from the 12 tribes, and particularly African Americans are descended from the 12 tribes. And here I should note, this is not an original idea. The concept of Hebrew Israelism predates Black Hebrew Israelism. The Hebrew Israelist movement in the UK, for example, which makes the argument that the English are descended from the 12.
Why do they always say, oh, there was another movement before this? In the UK, white people said they were Israelites. Well, those guys look just like you. They're your same race. They're your same ethnicity. That's the biggest joke. Y'all remember when I asked that Jewish man, why the hell do you look exactly like a German? The gig is up. The jig is up. The joke is up. The heist is up. The identity theft is up.
Tribe. With lost tribes, mythology exists. Many people have that story or incorporate that story in some way, shape, or form. But there's a particular manifestation in the American context, the Black American context.
Right, and there's also a bit of that in the Caribbean, right, with like Bob Marley, and I mean, I'm not an expert, so I'm not expressing this very well, but there's an element of seeing themselves as being part of the Judah, part of and while I do want to.
So now they're comparing us to Rastafarianism. This is why it's very important to just get a Hebrew Israelite leader on your platform and talk with them so that we can explain our position. We can explain our beliefs. We can explain the doctrine. It's very simple. You won't get denied an interview. We would love to do it. Is it because you would get exposed? Is it because you wouldn't have answers to our questions? I believe so.
For this, it's more about, for me and my audience, the impact on Jews. Is this a threat? Is this not a threat?
Is this a threat? Is this not a threat? These are the type of games. These are the type of smear campaign, red herring, diversionary tactics. Oh, instead of exposing somebody for being a fake and a fraud, let's paint the person who's exposing the real thief and criminal as being this dangerous person, therefore invalidating the claims. It's the good old banana in the tailpipe. Pause. Jay don't do social media. At the Water Brother for the super chat donation. Greatly appreciate you.
It's nice theoretically that someone else sees themselves as sharing the same roots. We do that. I do that. In my life. Individually, we try to find connections. Oh, are you from here? Oh, I'm from here. Here's my connection to you. Shared ancestries, shared pasts, etc. And I think you alluded to this before, that just a little in your little intro, that this can be, I'm paraphrasing, but the idea is that this can be benign and not. And so where
this can be benign. Okay. I spelled that all wrong. So, what does the phrase mean? A devil having a fork, a person with a forked tongue. What does that mean? When we say a person has a forked tongue, what does that mean? What does that mean? Serpent, snake, liar. They're a liar. I'm looking for, there we go. Jalen Johnson, double talking. Kasab Sakari, double talking. Talking two ways. There we go. Double speak. Yes. Because he's saying we can be harmful and we can be unharmful. No, either we're harmful or we're not. This is
I fear jumping right to the end here, but please explore this just a little bit more. Like why, we've discovered, there are Ethiopians, right? That
those Ethiopians, those Falasha Jews, we do not consider them or recognize them as being authentic children of the man Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. Those are Cushite converts, Hamite converts. Please don't compare us to that. We're 100% blood to the bone. No converting to Judaism. Because nowhere in the Torah does it say wear a small hat. Nowhere in the Torah does it say to circumcise your baby with, I don't want to get too graphic. You guys should know this by now. And please don't type it in the chat. Matter of fact, put "We Love Israel" in the chat. You're nowhere in the Torah does it say when you get back to the land, be the gay capital of the world. So, and nowhere in the Torah does it say you're a Jew by your mother's lineage, but rather your father is what the Torah says. So we don't care about those Cushites in Ethiopia who converted to a man-made false religion that you guys created. Now, just for the record, ancient Judaism just meant to follow the Torah. Modern Judaism is these man-made traditions that hold more weight than the Torah. That's just a fact. Let's continue.
But I think in the average Jewish conscience, average Jewish mind, we discovered, there's these other people that have had a Jewish heritage in other parts of the world, and particularly now I'm talking about the Ethiopians, and they are, black Israelites. They
Ethiopians are not black. I mean, this isn't about color. I know I put black in the title, and you guys put black in the title, but it's so stupid, and we take that as derogatory and offensive. We take that as an insult. But since that's been a common name that you put on us, we do entertain it for identifying content purposes. Okay, but anybody with my same color skin is not my race. I mean, hell, you guys believe that because there's a German that looks exactly like you, but you don't think that he's from Shem. You'll say he's from Japheth.
off, and there's a shared history, interrupted, and then a common direction. How is this different?
Right. One, you see these, you see groups who engage in what seem like remarkably Jewish practices, such that in some cases the state of Israel says, yes, these people are Jews. In diverse places, there are black Jews in Ethiopia, in Israel. There are black Jews in Nigeria who are. I think that's mostly controversial. They're considered Jews. There are Jews in India. There are Jews, people who look remarkably like Jews in Myanmar, and I'm not ultimately an adequate authority to judge which groups are or not legitimately Jewish. And on the other hand, as you alluded to, there are black.
So he did mention Jews in Nigeria, right? And not just Nigeria, West Africa, by and large, because that's where we were settled amongst Hamites and Arabs, right? So we got the Igbo, the Ashanti, Yoruba, and most of the slaves, according to certain research, most of the transatlantic slave trade were Igbo, if not most, a very large portion, which gives credence and more evidence to our claim. It's so easy to go on here and destroy these guys theologically because we have the facts. So we'll ask them. Now the question will be turned on them and say, okay, well, can you prove that you're a descendant? What evidence do you guys have? Because as far as I'm concerned, your most authoritative literature says in the first century, during the time of who the world calls Jesus, that there wasn't one Caucasian who was an Israelite back then. So then we beg the question, when did they turn white? And some of the foremost scholars of your community will say, oh, 900 AD when we got to the Rhineland. So the melanated black Jews started having sex with white women. And then they only had sex with white women to create the Ashkenazim, which is the majority of all Jews on the planet today. We've heard that, literally.
And on the other hand, as you alluded to, there are black groups. There are unambiguously black Jews, black people who everyone would agree is Jewish, or all reasonable Jewish authorities would agree Jewish. There are predominantly black Abrahamic religions which claim some connection to that larger tradition. Here, you were talking earlier about Rastafarianism, where the contention is that the emperor of Ethiopia was Haile Selassie, was the true Messiah.
He don't even understand Rastafarianism.
Israelism, I think, is different insofar as, in general, there are very few people who would credibly agree with the claim that.
He said there are listen to this. Hold on. What? See, now watch this, y'all. Watch this.
In general, there are very few people who would credibly agree with the claim that Black Americans are descended from the 12 tribes of Israel, right?
Very few people. Hold on. Let's get that one more time.
Insofar as, in general, there are very few people who would credibly agree with the claim that Black Americans are descended from the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Even if you take a fairly secular perspective, most people agree my genes go back to a group of people who were in and around the area of the modern day state of Israel thousands of years ago. That is probably not true of most Black people in the United States.
Wow. Bro, there is not one shred of DNA evidence to say your DNA goes back to Israel. It says the Middle East. Not one shred. We already had a debate with the leading Jewish apologist, Michael Brown, and he couldn't even present that. Dr. Henry Abramson couldn't even present that. It just says it goes back to the Levant, the Middle East area, which is many, many, many nations, including the nation of Edom, where white people come from. So yes, duh, it goes back there. But he said nobody would credibly agree, right? I want to show you guys something real quick. Nobody would credibly agree. That's what you said. And not to mention DNA testing being illegal in Israel. They brought that out. Now watch this. Let's share this. Now I got to cut you. Now I got to cut you. Oh my goodness. I don't even. So here is Rudy Rockman. He's like a Jewish apologist, very viral individual. Now look what he says here. Jewish response to Yay, right? Let's take a listen at what he says.
That mainstream Jews stole their identity. To those watching this video that have never heard of this, it is a fact that a large percentage of the black slaves sold during the transatlantic slave trade were of Israelite tribes displaced in Africa.
You want me to play that again? That's Rudy Rockman.
And arriving to false conclusions that mainstream Jews stole their identity. To those watching this video that have never heard of this, it is a fact that a large percentage of the black slaves sold during the transatlantic slave trade were of Israelite tribes displaced in Africa. Over 20% of the slave trade consisted of Africans capturing ethnic Igbos, which have an ancient tradition that they descend from the tribe of God, in what is today called Nigeria, and selling them to Europeans. It is
right now. Don't worry. Let's get some more here. I got a fully loaded clip of Jewish authorities saying that we are Israelites. I got a fully loaded clip. Here goes Dr. Michael Brown, the foremost apologist in the Jewish Christian community of a Messianic Jew. What does Dr. Michael Brown say?
Logically, it's more natural to think that there were black Jews than white Jews. So as people are scattered, it's going to make much more sense, right? Just if you're guessing, right? As the Jewish people begin to be scattered around the world, what's going to be more likely, that you have dominant black Jews or dominant white Jews? You think it's more likely to be a lot of black Jews. So it's so different for so many hearing it, but logically, it's not a surprise.
It's not a surprise that the dominant Jews on the earth will be black, but he has since took that back after we whipped his ass. Let's keep going. Now, here is a Jewish man from a royal family, Mike Peled. Let's hear him, what he's got to say. I got a fully loaded clip. I'll be on that tip. Okay, let's take a Mike Peled from a royal Jewish family. Look what he says.
Give me an analogy. He said, look, imagine you left your home and then someone came and occupied it, and then you try to get it back, and then they went to the judge. Have you heard some of these analogies? Maybe you can.
Yeah, that's assuming that, that's taking it to a place which I don't usually go. That's making the assumption that today's Jews are really the descendants of the ancient Hebrews that used to live in that part of the world some 3,000 years ago. That's a bit of a stretch for.
Mike Peled, a royal Jewish family, says that they, to say that they they'll go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is a stretch. Let's keep going. I got a fully loaded clip. I'll be on that tip. Hold up. See, Charles, you done messed up, Charles. You said nobody with credentials would credibly agree. What we got here? I got a fully loaded clip.
And if I go to sensitive history, well, then I must quote sources that say it rather than that I say it. This is a fascinating book, and the web pages are there. You can check it out. Facts are facts. This is a book that was written by a Jewish man, and he confronted the thinking of many of the high-placed individuals of the world. This is interesting stuff. In this book, Benjamin H. Friedman, a Jewish man, writes about the Jews and reveals an interesting history. He states that the present Jews in Palestine are not the true descendants of the Judeans, but rather descendants of the Khazars.
Boom. All right, I got so much more. I'll give a couple more. Here goes the CEO of the ADL. If you don't know what the ADL is, just go watch Dora the Explorer. This channel ain't for you. Here goes the CEO of the ADL. Let's see what he says. I got a fully loaded clip. I'll be on that tip.
I want to go back to something you just said. You said, you know, you acknowledge there are Black Jews. There are African-American Jews.
100%.
Some people think saying that they're labeled anti-Semitic. What is the difference between saying, hey, which is a fact there are Black Jews, and what y'all consider anti-Semitic in that conversation?
I don't know what it is. I mean, the fact there are Black Jews is just a statement of truth. I don't think that's anti-Semitic. I mean, I think.
What are we talking about here? I got a fully loaded clip. I'll be on that tip. Okay, let's take a look at Dr. Henry Abramson. Dr. Henry Abramson. Play a couple more. Charles, you done messed up. I hope you see this. You said that. I got a fully loaded clip. I'll be on that tip. Let's take a look at my main man, Dr. Henry Abramson. Bear with me, y'all. They're gonna give me a commercial. Lord Christ.
Is also intrinsically the same. And you also have this passage in Song of Songs, which is a highly allegorical representation of the communication between God and the Jewish people. That's how.
So he's saying that Songs of Solomon is not just about one person, it's about all of Israel. So when it says I am black, it's talking about all of Israel. Of course, we know not literally black like my shirt, but people of melanin, of color, not Caucasian. Watch him say it.
Understood in the rabbinic tradition. And this passage here, the figure representing the Jewish people says, Shechora ani v'na'ava, which is translated, I am black, but comely, or but beautiful. That vav, v'na'ava, and comely, or but comely, could be translated as an and or a but the context here implies that it is a but, meaning I am different, I am black, but nevertheless, I am beautiful. And most importantly, this is a metaphor referring to the entire Jewish people.
Woo! He said it. Now y'all believe it. All right, let's get one more, even though I got more. I'll do one more. Rabbi Shapira. Let's go to Rabbi Shapira. I got a fully loaded clip. All right, Rabbi Shapira, right? Who can? Yeah, Harry Rosenberg. Come on, man. I got so many. It's crazy. I'm just waiting for a debate or an interview. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Okay, this is Rabbi Shapira, where he's talking about Africans and African-American Jews, right? And watch what he says. Let's go to, all right, let's go right here.
This is the revelation from. Oh, I'll look at your
Revelation from Hashem. When the root will return to Africa, it will also return to the African American community, because every African American is connected to Africa.
Bring it out.
Every African American. And that's why I call upon African Americans today. You need to know your root. Your real root is not Africa. Your real root is in the house of Israel.
Woo! Bring that out. Look at the goddamn devil telling the truth, man. He said, you African Americans, you need to know your roots are not in Africa. Your roots are in the house of Israel. So, like I said, I got so much more. But for time's sake, let's go back here. Now, this guy is supposed to work at the Manhattan Institute and supposed to be researching us in our community, but didn't know that. You didn't know that your Jewish authorities identify a large portion. I'll be honest, they may not say all, but a large portion of us are in fact Israelites. Huh? So I want you to take that statement back before I slap the shit out you.
My genes go back to a group of people who were in and around the area. The 12 tribes incredibly agree, insofar as, in general, there are very few people who incredibly agree with the claim that Black Americans are descended from the 12 tribes of Israel, right? You know,
we just debunked that.
Even if you take a fairly secular perspective, most people agree. My genes go back to a group of people who were in and around the area of the modern day state of Israel thousands of years ago. That is probably not true of most Black people in the United States. To get back to your question about sort of danger versus not, you know.
See, and that's what they do. They know they can't prove it with the Bible because prophecy trumps DNA. So what they'll do is they'll try to play, and they can't do it with history either. But they'll try to play this biology game here, right?
What I like to say is, look, there are, and we talked about my survey, a fair number of Black people who appear to believe this. If they just believe that and bear me no ill will, I think that's kind of kooky. But we live in America; it's a land of kooky beliefs, and it doesn't really affect me if people just have kooky beliefs. The difference is that there are instances of Black Hebrew Israelism being associated with violence and anti-Semitism, or violent anti-Semitism. People who identify as Black Hebrew Israelites engaging in violence towards others, engaging in violence towards Jews, engaging in...
What? Bro, listen, I wouldn't even... Nobody's worried about putting hands on y'all. Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? What? Now, there are Black people in general who don't even know that they're Israelites, who don't like you guys for what you have done in their community or the history or whatever reason. So don't try to act like when you learn about this faith that we have woken up to and studied and got evidence for, and other Jewish authorities have agreed with. Don't act like when you come into this faith, you just start playing the knockout game with you guys. We're not doing that. Niggas playing a knockout game with you guys for other reasons, probably because of underground tunnels, probably because of the accusations and allegations of sexual violations, or, the role you guys did play in the transatlantic slave trade. Don't act like that niggas is playing a knockout with you guys, just because they found out that we are Hebrew Israelites. That's a lie.
Public displays of anti-Semitism, condemning Jews as the children of Satan, saying the Jews are pretenders, liars, etc. That sort of rhetoric can be associated with violence.
Here's the problem, Charles. How can that be associated with violence if it's in the Bible
that you are the synagogue of Satan. And even in the Old Testament, because 92% of the Jewish community don't accept the New Testament. Even in the Old Testament, you're called the sons of the devil. People are called the sons of the devil or the children of the wicked. So these are biblical phraseologies, and that can be placed on people in groups. And so, how is that violence? Excuse me. How is that violent? Ridiculous.
And so, when we go back to the visible Black Hebrew Israelism, that kind of extremism is sort of where this starts being a kooky belief, and starts being there are ways potentially in which this belief can overlap with harmful behaviors, risky behaviors, behaviors that put the Jewish community at risk. That's part of my research interest in it.
I wanted to look at a video for a moment, and that I found a bit menacing. And maybe I was wrong to find it, but I know that many people in the Jewish community found this to be menacing. Was it last year or two? I think it was 2 years ago, 2022. Basketball player Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets.
Shout out Kyrie Irving. Even though he bitched up, excuse my language, you know what I mean? He did. Bro kind of tucked tail. But either way, there's people in Sakari from him saying that. There's people in Sakari Varsity from him saying that. And there's people who are in other camps, Hebrew Israelite congregations, for him saying what he said. So all praises to the Most High for that. God don't need these celebrities to go to heaven or to make it to the kingdom. God will just use them because everybody worships them to give some important and correct information. And then his elect, his little ones, the lowly of the earth, because James 2:5 said God has chosen the poor of this world. They will take the information and God will use them to be the ones who are on fire for him, worship him, dedicated, devoted to his service. You understand that? So I just wanted to make that clear, right? Let's go. Talk about Kyrie.
Promoted a book that I think had expressed some of this idea, and lots of Jews mentioned this, felt this was very anti-Semitic of him to be promoting or publicizing perhaps this book.
Now, for those of you who might be new to this channel, just the phrase that he's using, anti-Semite, it's a play on Shem, the man Shem. Even when you look it up etymologically, it says Arabs, Armenians, or Armenians rather, Assyrians, and then Israelites, which would be Jews. So it's not, they can't monopolize that word, in which they did. And they also monopolized the Halloween cost. The Halloween cost. I can't say the word because it's so controversial, but they monopolized the Halloween cost, that event, right? Now that event, there was more Soviets killed than anybody, but somehow they have monopolized that event to only affect them. This is how you know who has control of the planet. All you got to do is talk shit about them and see what happens to you. And also, since we're speaking about celebrities and Hebrew Israelites, shout out Kendrick Lamar. He spoke about us being Israelites on that album he did, on that damn album. And he also whipped Drake's ass. Pause. No Diddy. I changed it now. No Driddy. No Driddy. I gotta go and copyright that. No Driddy. A little mix between Drake and Diddy, right? So shout out Kendrick Lamar for destroying lyrically destroying Driddy, right, and bringing us dark-skinned brothers back up to power. You heard? They not like us. They not like. Let's take a quick break. No, I'm joking. Let's go.
and there were calls on him to apologize because it was anti-Semitic. He dug in his heels, saying, "This is not anti-Semitic. I am not an anti-Semite." And there were some,
because people say, you know, I'm a Shemite, so how can I be anti myself? But that might be a bad argument, brothers and sisters, because black people do hate other black people. So I wouldn't really use that, possibly just to be funny.
Demonstrations in his favor. So I want you to take a look at this and just let me know what you think.
So he plays the clip with our brothers from IUIC. Shout out to the IUIC. They marched around the Barclays Center, which Barclays, they were slave owners. Let's talk about that. They marched around the Barclays Center. So that's what he's playing. They did this to support Kyrie after the world was slamming him over those true statements that he made.
And just let me know what you think.
On forever. They basically surrounded the Barclays Center. There wasn't some hundreds, there were thousands out there. And you know what? I'm proud of them. Because this is what happens when the media fails to do its job. When the media strings up Kyrie Irving at the behest of the puppet masters.
When I saw this on social media back in real time, back when this was happening, I felt threatened.
Yo, this is horrible. Like, we're not burning menorahs in your yard like the KKK burned crosses in our yard. We didn't do nothing to your synagogues like they, you know, destroyed and killed little girls in our synagogues, right? Now, even if I seen a pro-white movement marching, I wouldn't get scared. Like, this whole thing, oh, I'm scared. It's white guilt. It's white guilt. What is white guilt? White guilt, right? I want to bring this up real quick. 1 second, y'all. White guilt. Like, when I go by a white person and they lock their doors or hold their purse or walk to the whole other side of the street when I'm walking on the same side of the street, this is just white guilt, right? It's a belief that white people bear a collective responsibility for the harm which has resulted from historical or current racist treatment of people belonging to other racial groups, as for example, the context of the Atlantic slave trade, European colonialism, and genocide of indigenous peoples, right? That is white guilt. Oh, I seen some black guys marching and I got scared. I seen black guys marching and it scared me, right? Put a 1 in the chat if that happened to you. Like, you know, white people just getting scared just because you're around, or, you know, put a 1 in the chat if you guys have experienced that. Right. Put some 1s in the chat if you guys experienced that. It is just so funny. It's like, don't nobody want your punk ass bike, cuz, right? It's like you almost want to say that to him. I want to try something real quick. I want to do something real quick. I see all these 1s in the chat. Right. Okay, let's continue here. I also just put a poll up. Feel free to take that poll if you have been keeping up with our culture, or not, it's all good, right? But he just seemed, he just said, "Oh, I seen the black guys marching, and I felt really threatened."
When I saw this on social media back in real time, back in the back when this was happening, I felt threatened. Yeah, I'm not in New York, but as a Jew, I felt that we were being threatened. Here's a large group.
We haven't marched to Bethlehem and said, "You guys gotta go." We haven't even marched into the Jewish communities around America and said, "Hey, you guys gotta go." What are you talking about?
In the thousands, this fellow saying,
No, that's a good comment. Who said that? Greenhouse. Sympathy is profitable. That's right. Sympathy is profitable. I'm with you on that one. Right. Unity scared them. That's a good one. Luciana. Unity scares them. Unity scares them. That's why in the beginning we brought out the scripture in Ezekiel 37 that great fear fell upon them. There was a great exceeding army. You see it. And then great fear fell upon them that seen us. You see it. Niggas ain't even got to haul it off in your ass. Pause. No dritty. And you're rattled.
Hey, Jacob, it's time to wake up. We are the real Jews. And I don't know what else they were saying in the chat, but it's a show of, I don't want to say force, but it's
a show of unity, man.
It's a big show of numbers, and it's forceful. And am I right to feel, to see that?
This is exactly what the Christians say. Christians say, especially black Christians, the BLACCs, the bootlicking ass coon Christians, they say you guys are too militant. The water, Don Mello, for the super chat donation, greatly appreciate you. They say you guys are too militant. We need you guys to be more softer, more docile, more effeminate. It's the same thing that our people say. Don't ever act manly. Don't ever be masculine or militant. What? Or we're going to act scared. And if we're scared, we will drop bombs on you guys and enslave you guys again. That be a justifiable reason. Oh, we were scared. We felt threatened. That's what happened in ancient Egypt. Remember? In ancient Egypt, we went into slavery because they said, oh, they're going to grow in numbers and overthrow us. We feel threatened. We feel scared. Enslave them. Oh, Black Wall Street. Remember they bombed Black Wall Street? Oh, they're going to grow in numbers. They're going to get some economic power. We feel scared. We feel threatened. Bomb them. Same thing that's about to happen in Jacob's trouble, in which we are in, and it escalates and de-escalates. Oh, we feel scared. We feel threatened. Rex 83, I believe it's called. FEMA camps, concentration camps. We feel scared. We feel threatened. You gotta watch. You gotta pick up on these buzzwords and code words that they use to shape the global narrative and the nationwide narrative.
As menacing, and that is not the message. There is not. Hey, we share a background. Is there a sense of replacement?
Yeah, I mean, look, so to talk a little bit about the Kyrie Irving incident. Irving, as you mentioned, he's a basketball player. He shared on Twitter a documentary, Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. They claimed that Jews were responsible for the slave trade, Jews are in league with Satan.
No, why is it so funny? I have a book right here that I keep right here, just in case my Jewish friends click the link and want to talk to me. Literally, this is valid, credible, empirical, peer-reviewed information in history that you guys had a hand in the transatlantic situation of us going into captivity. This is just history. Your best bet is to say, oh, we did that, it was awful. What the hell are you laughing about and trying to explain it away and sweep it under the rug? This is a history of the Jews by Paul Johnson. If you look at page, is it page 283? What page was that? Just get the book and read it. It's very good. And it's quoting from other sources as well. Hey, hit that like button and share, y'all. Let's get 900 people in here.
People are happy about that.
Everybody type 900 in the chat.
But so when he returned to his first game back, there was a huge rally at the Barclays Center, and the folks that were chanting "We're the real Jews." They distributed flyers about the truth about anti-Semitism and the truth about slavery. So yeah, this gets into that sort of more extremist Black Hebrew Israelism. And I think it is worthwhile to draw that distinction because you can get lots of people sort of naively agree like that. You can get.
Now let me ask you guys a question because he said that was extreme. Would you guys consider me to be extreme? Or would you consider me to be moderate? Or would you consider me to be a friendly brew? Am I a friendly brew? Am I a moderate brew? Or am I extreme brew?
People, by the way, to agree in a survey to the claim Black people are descended from the 12 tribes. But it is, I think that there is a not necessary but natural association between that belief and other conspiratorial beliefs which tend to sort of exist in a nexus around anti-Semitism, right? So there's this theory, not only are Black people descended from Jews, but from the 12 tribes, but also Jews are not. We are pretenders. We are the children of Satan, or we are the sort of.
So we don't call you guys a pretender. You're not a pretender. You guys don't know. A lot of you guys don't know. You've been lied to. What's that scripture, right? So it's not. I don't think most of you guys are pretending. What's that? Jeremiah 15 and 16. I don't think most of you guys are pretending. I know for a fact most of you guys just don't know. You've inherited lies. In Jeremiah 15 and 16. No, what is that? Our fathers have inherited lies. 16:19. There you go. Where's my Israelite scholars at in the building? Somebody said friendly. No, okay, let me ask you guys this question again. Am I a friendly Israelite when it comes to other nations? How I deal with the other nations, what I believe about the other nations. Am I friendly, moderate, or am I extreme? Not how I am with my own people. So Jeremiah 16 and 19, I just want to respond to him saying that we call them pretenders. It says, "O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies. Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity and things wherein there is no profit." So you've been inheriting lies, Charles and what's his other's name? Charles and dang, I forget. Eyal Bitten. You guys have inherited lies. Now there are some of the Jewish community that do know that this is very fraudulent. But most are not pretending, they just have inherited lies. Right?
Scientific quote unquote version is that we are descended from the converts in Eastern Europe and Khazaria.
No. We're not saying that you guys are the Khazars. Some of you guys could be from the Khazars. But most of the Ashkenazim, which are the biggest population, they are descendants of the Kalonymus family. Kalonymus family who converted during the 1st, 2nd century. We've done plenty lectures, presentations, and debates on that information. All you got to do is go look up Dr. Michael Brown verse Guerrilla Hebrew.
It's a separate issue. It doesn't really hold up to genetic inspection. But the
see that genetic inspection, that's their ace in the hole. Genetic inspection, genetics. That's their ace in the hole. It's never history. It's never archaeology. It's never Bible. You see that? And we got all 4. We can play with DNA literally if we wanted to, but we got history, archaeology, and prophecy. Prophecy being the greater portion of evidence, the more authoritative. If there's ever a point where history conflicts with the Bible, I have to choose the Bible. I'll never put history over the Bible because history is not divinely inspired. The Spirit of God didn't hop on somebody and say, record this history and it could be rewritten. The Spirit of God hopped on the prophets, and this has come to pass and have created that's the difference. This creates history because things were predicted and prophesied before it happened, therefore making it history when it did happen. How about that?
The point is that Black Hebrewism in this context is not only is there some connection between Black people and 12 tribes, but that there's that Jews are hiding this truth, that we are pretenders to.
No, you guys aren't hiding it. A lot of you guys may not know it, but I just went down a whole list of Jewish authorities who said we are Israelites.
The true inheritors of the Mosaic tradition, and that we are, that we are puppet masters, and this is all very standard, like anti-Semitic stuff. This is just like textbook anti-Semitism. And I think it is significant.
Forbidden in Lehman, Deacon Sakari, Sakari leadership in general, we would definitely love to have a conversation. We'll keep it PG-13. We'll keep it clean, right? No ad homs, no insults, no foul language, no vulgarity. That's easy.
At the idea that this sort of kooky idea that I alluded to, Black Hebrewism often does go hand in hand with these other conspiratorial beliefs that together absolutely can induce people to engage in harmful, violent behavior.
To mention the Khazars, and I know that's a different.
Prove it. Okay, has it happened? Because you haven't gave a point of reference or example where it happened. You're saying, oh, it could, and so could you guys. First of all, the Talmud talks so badly about non-Jewish people. I mean, it says everything. Don't leave your animals around. Don't mess with their women. If they marry them, then the marriage is invalid. When the Messiah comes back, you're going to get 900 slaves, Gentile slaves. Let's talk about how bad the Talmud talks about Gentiles. I made up the phrase anti-Gentilism. Nobody wants to talk about that, though. How anti you guys are, or people who you believe are not your kind. Nobody wants to talk about that, though.
But I think it overlaps it's poignant right now, because one of the arguments that I've heard a lot regarding, from the Palestinian or pro-Palestinian side of pro-Palestinian camp that wants to invalidate Jewish claims to the land of Israel is, listen, you are not, you'll hear Palestinians and their supporters say, you are not indigenous to this land, you are descendants of the Khazars. And I've heard this as well from a Palestinian that I know as well, we are the real Jews, they'll say about themselves. We are genetically descendant.
Okay, I don't believe that.
Descendants of these people. So the idea that that this other group, whatever this other group is, are the true descendants of ancient Israel is not new. And the idea in the church, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, perhaps even more, the idea that there's, basically 2,000 years ago, here's the new chosen people. Here's the new.
No. Now he's trying to say that replacement theology started 2,000 years ago. No. So basically saying that everybody wants to be the Israel. Everybody wants to be the Jew, right? The Palestinians, the blacks. And then even the church 2,000 years ago said they're the new Israel, the spiritual Jew. No. That's not biblical. Let's stop. That's not in the New Testament. A spiritual Jew, a new Israel. It's not.
The New Testament, and it's not that they were genetically inheritors of descendants of the Hebrews, but rather spiritual ones. And there was that claim, and it led to violence. It led to that kind of thinking, saying that we.
No. What led to violence was the Christian church saying you guys killed their God, Jesus. So therefore, they wanted to slaughter. Not you guys. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that, because they weren't even there back then. Not the majority. There were converts back during the time of Christ, but they weren't. These converts were not the majority. So they were killing real Israelites because they said the Israelites killed their Messiah, their God, right? So that's why the Crusaders were killing us. And then they started killing converts because the converts started coming into the land by the masses when they started to compile the Talmud from 200 AD to 500 AD, right? That's why it's called the Babylonian Talmud, because from Babylon to Jerusalem, you had these individuals come together to start creating this authoritative, codified, what they would say would be an oral law, and that's better. That's over the Torah, rather.
This new religion, these Christians, we are we are the correct path, and you no longer are following the right way. Leads to anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish hatred. And right now, what we're seeing with Palestinians, there's a lot of that type of thinking as well, saying you are not real. And
I can't even imagine how you could talk shit about Palestine when you guys have killed literally 30 times, 50 times more people than them during this whole war. Give them a break.
It's not just an idea, there's an implication. And therefore you do not belong on this land. Therefore your story, your narrative is wrong, and then it can lead to violence. It is there. So when I hear what you're saying, I don't want to say I don't care, but I worry about the extremists, the people who are not extreme, wonderful, but the extremists who harbor these feelings. How dangerous, how actionable is that extremist threat?
I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I consider myself to be an extremist, right? Now, I met a Jewish man the other day. I seen him a couple of times. I think we were at a day party. It was like a brunch party out here. It was real nice facility, real good vibes, good food, good mimosas. I met this Jewish dude, and the first thing I could think about is, why is his shoes so goddamn dirty? He had these Reeboks on, and his shoes were extremely dirty, but he had a Jewish Hebrew letter. He had a Hebrew letter on his, he wasn't wearing the small hat or the zits. But I was like, he's in the group. I think he was like with the owner or somebody with some money. I'm like, who is this dirty white guy around these guys with money, right? So I want you guys to hear this, Ayal and Charles, just in case you watch this and want to interview me. I consider myself an extremist by what I say, but I'm not calling for violence against you guys. I'm just simply exposing the lies and bringing forth the truth, right? So I have no problem seeing somebody who I believe stole our identity and nationality and engaging in a cordial conversation with the individual.
So come to find out, this Jewish man that I was speaking about, he owns a whole club. I mean, just looked at dirty. Owns a whole nightclub out here. I mean, so he's gotta be in the millions. And I asked him, I was like, how old are you? He was like 32 or whatever. I was like, you bought that nightclub yourself? And you know what he said? Of course. He didn't say of course, but he said, well, I have people that invested in it, but I am the owner of it, right? So he seen my zeets. He was like, that's cool, man. That's cool. You represent for the Most High, right? So I can have a cordial conversation with someone I even deem to be my enemy, right? So that just should let you know what type of time we're on and what type of time we're not on. Now, when the Messiah comes back, of course, the Bible says that he's going to use us to not just completely annihilate those who have raped, robbed, and murdered us, but the whole world outside of the nation of Israel, because they all have had a hand in our spoil. You understand that? And one last funny thing about that story. So, what's up, Lando? You learning, brother? Are you going to become an Israelite now? Or are you still like middle fingers to us? Be real, brother. And it ain't no rush. Are you going to become an Israelite now? Or are you still like middle fingers to all of this fake Bible? Because I see you almost on every live. I'm proud of you, brother. Hang in there. And once you are converted, I need the first interview. Now, what's funny about this story, though, y'all, is that the car I drive, it's a gray car. He said, hell no. Nah. So he loves watching this channel, even though he believes everything in the Bible is equivalent to Shrek 2 and Duloc and Lord Farquaad. Now, what's funny about this story, y'all, is I drive a car, right? And it has nice paint. It has a nice paint job, but it's factory paint, but it's nice paint. And it's gray, right? And so he asked me, he was like, he said, what's the color of your car? This Jewish man asked me this. He said, what's the color of your car? And this, I don't know why. I know why I said it, because I'm an asshole. But when I said it, it was cringeworthy, because I was like, oh my God, why did I say that? So he's walking to his car and he sees my car and he's like, what color is that? I said, it's Arabian gray. So he's leaving. He's like Arabian gray. That's nice. And so when he's getting in his car, I said, it's Hamas gray. And he looked at me and was like, he looked at me and was like, what? I was like, oh my God, I just can't help myself sometimes. Now, again, I'm extreme and I know how to have a cordial conversation, but it's because it's embedded in me, my belief system, it's gonna come out and you may get offended because it's naturally gonna come out. So he will probably get insulted and offended as I see him out from time to time. I'm pretty sure. Right? Anyway, so we're halfway through this video. These guys don't represent us, and they're misunderstanding us, and they're misrepresenting us, rather. So we could end it here, y'all. Tomorrow, tune in. I got something very special for you guys. Tomorrow, tune in. I have something very special for you guys. Yeah, I gotta think about a good title and a good thumbnail. Something very special for tomorrow's live show. So we're gonna end this by giving all praises, honor, and glory. We did go over 900 people today, so all praises. I said, Lord, I ain't going nowhere until you give over 900 people. I told him that. So he came through. You know, the more people, the more views, the more repentance of our people. So yeah, let's end this by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. We do so by Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Until next time, y'all. See y'all tomorrow, Lord's will. Enjoy your new moon tonight, new moon feast, and Shalom.